Hello, friends. We are back for another episode 3 to be exact, of Catherine's Quarters for this season. And you might be wondering, episode 3, what did I miss? Well, we had an amazing guest over the weekend, David Mays, super diehard Detroit Lions fan. And we were going to the Eagles-Lions game, so it only felt appropriate for us to break that game down, talk about the Eagles, talk about the Lions, talk about what to expect, and then we talked about a few of the other games. So you definitely have to go back and watch that one. Some of my predictions were right, David's were a little off, but that's okay. I think he was just pulling for his team. But it was a super fun episode, and remember I told you, I'm gonna be bringing you guests throughout the season. So that was our first guest. That was an amazing, fun episode to film. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. But this episode, we are so recapping week 1 of the NFL. We had quarterbacks on the ground all over the place because they were getting sacked all the time. We had kicker mishaps all over the place. That was a mess. We had a tie game. So you start the season with a 0-1 record, which is always fun. But we're gonna talk about the staples, the surprises, and the sorrows from Sunday. So let's get into it. So you know I have to talk about my Eagles-Lions because I went to the Eagles-Lions game. David and I only thought it was right to do a preview episode of week 1. If you missed episode 2, just go back and look at it. We talked about the Eagles-Lions game. Obviously, he's a lifelong Detroit Lions fan. I am a lifelong Eagles fan. It only felt right that we have a discussion about what the teams might possibly do. I obviously said that I thought the Eagles were going to come out, score a lot of points. They acquired AJ Brown over the offseason. They also got Hassan Reddick and, was it Kaiser White on defense? So I was really excited about the team. I really thought that Jalen Hurts is going to come into his own. He's going to pass the ball a lot, hopefully. He did a lot of running, but whatever. But he had a couple of really nice passes to AJ Brown, and it's also a testament to the great receiver that AJ Brown is. But they did. They won the game 38-35. I was closer to the Eagles score being correct than I was to the Lions. The Lions ended up scoring 35 points, and no, I was not happy. I was very stressed. But the game was so much fun, and I'd never been to Ford Field. Detroit absolutely would have a dome because it's cold as hell there all the time. But we had great seats. 40-yard line, super close to the action. It was required that we get tickets on the Eagles side because I am a very passionate football fan, especially when it comes to my Eagles, and I just wanted to make it out of there alive. Just kidding. But everybody was so nice, and I was like very loud. I was very loud and very happy every time my Eagles scored, and there were Eagles fans around us, and then there were Lions fans around us. There were these two boys sitting behind me that I'm pretty sure were very annoyed with my life. At one point, there was like a penalty call, and I was like, he grabbed him on the neck, kick him out. I was being very dramatic. I could just see them through my peripheral, like laser beams, like Aaron Rodgers did, which we'll get to. But it was so much fun to watch. It was such a good game, and we had a really good time. I mean, sitting around all of the Lions fans on the Eagles side was obviously a much better decision. The game was it was a good time. I was nervous at the end. I was like sitting on top of the stadium chair because I was really scared. I was like holding my beer like this. It was not probably the best way to hold my beer in case something bad happened. I probably would have chucked it. But it was a really, really good time, and I'm so happy that my Eagles won. So you know we have to start with Sunday staple. Now, staples are just that. What you expect from a team on Sunday. You expect them to either play well or you expect them to play terrible. Now we're gonna go with the play well area for this conversation because obviously if you watch any of the games on Sunday, the Kansas City freaking Chiefs. If you didn't expect the Kansas City Chiefs to win, 1, because they are playing a very depleted Cardinals team, or 2, because you just had no belief that they would be able to figure it out with Tyreek, you're all crazy. Because Patrick Mahomes, the $500 million man, might I add, has weapons galore and has had weapons galore, right? And we've seen them lose with their weapons, so it's just not expected. Patrick Mahomes was spreading the ball around to all of the receivers, tight ends, anybody who was eligible to catch the football, he was throwing it to them. Oh, you guys think I can't figure this out with Tyreek? Wow, Tyreek is a super huge threat, especially deep balls. He's one of the fastest men that's ever walked the planet, to be fair. It was a show. I mean, that offense, the defense was good too, but that offense is just how do you figure out how to stop him when he has literally everything at his expense to just be able to use? I mean, I'm sure the Cardinals went into that game really thinking that they had an opportunity, and then they got slapped in the face. I mean, I like Kyler. I like the Cardinals. When D-Hop comes back, this will probably be a similar conversation, but a little bit different. They'll probably be a little more competitive, but it was just, they were so outmatched on Sunday, it almost made me feel bad for them. They lost 44-21. I mean, in the last vlog, David had mentioned, I really like the Cardinals. This could be an opportunity for them to upset, even though, they're super depleted, and it was just a mess. D-Hop is suspended for the next however many weeks, and I just don't know where they're gonna get any offense from. I just don't. It's a depressing situation, but Kansas City is exactly where we expected them to be fair, exactly where we expected them to be. And yet again, after this weekend, I don't think that anybody can say, outside of the Bills and hopefully the Rams getting it together, what other team would you like? The Bills are probably, well, the Chargers too, because the Chargers have an excellent roster. It feels like Bills, Chargers, Chiefs, what are you gonna do? Sunday staple, Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, they look like they're just clicking and gonna make their whole way to the Super Bowl just look like the easiest thing that you have ever seen in your life. But any given Sunday is a quote for a reason. So we'll see if that carries through the rest of the season. I mean, even into the next week. Let's move on to Sunday surprises. If this game didn't surprise you on either side of the ball, then I don't know what you were watching. The Packers-Vikings game was confusing, to say the least. Confusing. I'm gonna start with the Vikings because the Vikings won. The Vikings won, and it was a decisive win. Justin Jefferson is the absolute best. I will forever hate the Eagles as an organization for not picking Justin Jefferson. If they could go back in a time machine, at any point in the last 2-3 years, I'm sure they wouldn't make that decision again. But hindsight is always 20/20, and Justin Jefferson is phenomenal. And I've never been a Kirk Cousins stan or anything by any stretch of the imagination. I think Kirk Cousins is average. I think Kirk Cousins is fine. He can play quarterback. He clearly can do it well enough for as long as he's been in the league. I didn't really like the contract that the Vikings gave him, but whatever, it's not my business because I'm not a Vikings fan. But he has Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne, and that defense, and now they have a new head coach, and Sunday just looked like a really good start to this season for them. I mean, no one is going to play Justin Jefferson the way the Green Bay Packers defense played Justin Jefferson. I understand that there were lots of guys out for the Green Bay Packers, but good gracious, Justin Jefferson on a handful of plays, and I mean, this is unacceptable, a handful of plays, was just wide open, looking like he was out there by himself, looking like him and Kirk Cousins were just out there, throwing a couple passes, hanging out, spending some time together. That's what they looked like they were doing, because there was not a defensive player in sight. I mean, that is just unacceptable. Woo-hoo. The Packers, they're gonna have some problems on their hands. And I mean, as an organization, they're gonna have some problems on their hands. Alan Lazard didn't start, so, Aaron Rodgers is out there throwing to guys that no one knows their names. I can't even tell you their names right now. Outside of Randall Cobb, who is all reliable, but he's also just that, quite up there in age. You mean to tell me y'all gonna have one of the best throwers of the football in Aaron Rodgers and dump the ball off to AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones? I don't really know what you think you're gonna do with that kind of offensive game plan week in and week out. Because not to say that the Vikings defense is the best run defense in the league, but you're gonna face good run defenses. And then what are you gonna do? Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb? And what's the kid, Watson? Watson drops a pass that would have been a touchdown early on in the game, and Aaron Rodgers looked like he was beaming lasers that could kill him. Aaron Rodgers said all of the things that needed to be said. And if everybody doesn't tighten up their game, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. That was some horrendous football I watched So another game we need to talk about that was a little surprising, and I'm not going to get super in depth, but the Steelers-Bengals game. That was also kind of surprising. The Bengals just were in the Super Bowl. Obviously, they lost to the Rams, and the Steelers had a lot of offseason movement. Ben Roethlisberger retires in January. Juju Smith-Schuster goes to Kansas City. They got to figure out, whether Mitchell Trubisky is going to be the number one quarterback, or is it going to be Mason Rudolph, or are you going to just trot Kenny Pickett out there because everybody likes the way he looks? They had a lot of questions going into it. Mitchell Trubisky played a pretty good game. Now, I am one that likes to give guys the opportunity to show that they can do something different. Obviously, normally less bad than what they did at their previous location, to do something different and kind of figure it out. Maybe a different head coach, maybe a different scheme, maybe a different offense, maybe a different something will work for them. Mitchell Trubisky played pretty well. I mean, the defense is really what kept the Steelers in the game, but he was able to get them to score points. And your defense can do everything that they want to do. If they're not scoring points, then the offense has to do that, and he figured out how to do it against a Bengals team, once again, that was just in the Super Bowl. Now, Joe Burrow is not going to throw another 5-interception game. That's not going to happen. Let me knock on wood. That's not going to happen. Hopefully. On the Steelers side, the defense looks really good, and Mitchell Trubisky may have a resurrection. With the Bengals, I'm not really that worried. I don't think anybody else should be that worried. Joe Burrow is an amazing quarterback. He has a lot of weapons to utilize. It's just that offensive line is a hot mess. And it doesn't feel like they've changed anything. And that's going to be a problem for them moving forward. Them being abysmal does affect the Bengals future-wise, but I do not think that Joe Burrow is going to throw as many interceptions, which is really what kept the Steelers in the game the whole time. There's that. The Steelers-Bengals game was a surprising one, but it wasn't so surprising that we need to be concerned about it. Now we got to get to Sunday sorrows. There's a lot of Sunday sorrow. Teams lost. Some teams lost by a lot. Some teams did not lose by a lot. Some teams were heartbroken by their kickers. Lots of Sunday sorrow. But boy, I tell you, we've been waiting all day for a Sunday night. And let me tell you, that Sunday night game, I could have fallen asleep. That game was so bad. And it was so bad because we expected the game to be so good. Because it's Tom Brady going against Dak Prescott, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, the Dallas Cowboys, who still try to pretend and claim that they are America's team. We thought this was going to be fun. Cedarian Lamb is now wide receiver number 1. We got Mike Evans here. Chris Godwin's supposed to be back. There's a lot of stuff that we were supposed to be excited about. A lot of expectations for this game. And y'all trot out this game, and more the Dallas Cowboys than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers end up winning 19-3. 19-3. One, I hate that score. It feels ugly to say. It feels, don't like it. From the start, the Dallas Cowboys, 3rd and long, after 3rd and long, after 3rd and long, after 3rd and long. Cedarian Lamb, 11 targets, 2 catches. 11 targets and 2 catches. I don't even want the Cowboys to win, and I'm mad at the performance that they gave. I know Amari Cooper left in the offseason. He's a Cleveland Brown now. Zeke trying to come back and find the same spark that he had 3-4 years ago, whatever it was at this point. The only bright spot for the Dallas Cowboys is Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons had Tom Brady very pissed at his offensive line. Very, very pissed. And that kid is a phenom. I am not looking forward to going against the Dallas Cowboys. Unless they have Cooper Rush at quarterback, because you know who's hurt? Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott got hit on the hand twice, and he has to go in for surgery. It's like a clean break, but it's on the bottom of his hand, and it's his throwing hand. They're estimating that he'll be out for 6 to 8 weeks. People are hoping and praying that it's 4. I'm not sure that the Dallas Cowboys should not be panicking at this present moment, because good gracious, the one guy that everybody banks on outside of Micah Parsons now, the one guy that everybody banks on for the Cowboys is absolutely Dak Prescott. We've seen Zeke Elliott disappear in moments where we needed him to be there. Michael Gallup, wide receiver 2 now, not playing because he's injured. They have like 5 or 6 primetime games. But let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because they didn't look that much better. There was lots of talk in the offseason about Tom Brady, missed 11 days of training camp and all of that because he has personal stuff going on. His wife is very annoyed that he decided that he was going to unretire from football. Leonard Fournette, fantastic player. We really like him. That offensive line is going to have to get their shit together because Tom Brady is going to light them up every single time if they do not. There's a couple of clips from when Tom was yelling after Micah Parsons, then laid him on his butt a few times. Mike Evans, obviously amazing. We love Mike Evans. I have Mike Evans on my fantasy, and I was very happy for his. There was one drive where it was just pass Mike Evans, pass to Mike Evans, pass to Mike Evans, touchdown Mike Evans. Literally, that's what it was. The whole drive down the field to get the touchdown that they had, the one singular touchdown, I think it was. So I mean, it was a good situation. The kicker missed one. There was a lot of kicker misses this weekend, so you know, hey, what it is. And clearly the defense is quite good. They had Dak on his heels the whole game before he had to go out because he injured his hand. The defense looks really good. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a lot more to look forward to than the Dallas Cowboys do. The Dallas Cowboys got to figure out when they're getting Dak back and have to hope and pray whoever is taking over under center for them until then can figure something out, because the Cowboys, the week one, that is not fun. Week one to find out that a guy is not going to be available for the next couple of weeks as teams get back into their rhythm and their chemistry of playing every Sunday or Monday or Thursday and just like that groove and grind of the season, and you lose your quarterback. It's got to be unfortunate. That's got to be like immediate panic mode. I can only imagine Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and everybody else running around like chickens with their heads cut off, because what do you do in that situation? I know there's been lots of talk about, bring in Jimmy or bring in Tyler Huntley or bring in this guy or bring in that guy. It's like, bring in these guys, which is fine, but they don't know these guys. They've never thrown passes to Sedarian. They've never thrown passes to Dalton Schultz. They never had to hand it off to Zeke. And to be fair, these are all things that you mess it up, the defense on the other side is absolutely going to try and capitalize on that. Now, you might be playing the Jets or something, so that may not matter whether they try to capitalize on a mess up or not, but the Cowboys' schedule is no walk in the park for the next 4 weeks. I mean, this is just going to be fun. I'm so happy that football is back. I can't even tell you guys. And the first weekend was wild. All right, friends, that's it for this episode of Catherine's Quarters. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Follow all of my social media, because you know I'm always posting, talking, tweeting about all things football. When basketball season, we'll be talking about that. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Next episode of Catherine's Quarters will be a preview of Week 2 games. It's going to be great. Check you guys later.